My agent said, well, you've got to go up to Shreveport on this day. So I get there, and I'm like, hi, I'm Dan. She goes, oh, Native American, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm here to audition. She said, no, darling. You've got the part. We're just here to put you in a costume, which was super cool, okay? So Joseph Porro is our head costume designer. He's out of California. He's done lots and lots of major films, and he did the Lizzie Borden thing recently, and he's just amazing. And Joseph is about this tall. We call him Elfin Magic. And he's from California, and he was very artsy, okay? So first time to Shreveport area. And we have a bunch of ladies lined up to be townspeople, Puritans, Knockers Hole, which you live in Salem, you don't want to live in Knockers Hole because that's the bad part of town. But y'all see a lot about Knockers Hole this season. So all these people are sitting out there, and Joseph walks in, and he says to his assistant, seriously, are all the women fat here? How am I going to costume these ladies? I said, hey, come here. You might want to rein back on that. In California, you say stuff like that, people don't think I say, oh, you're not in L.A., you're in L.A. So Joseph quickly adapted. He hasn't had his rear end whipped yet that I know of on purpose, but he's super cool, and he's one of the many people that make Salem happen for us. And a quick note on costuming, our budget for costuming last season was $27,000 per episode. That's just to put our clothes on us. Now, the leads wear, if you've seen the ladies' gowns, these are all couture, handmade, one-of-a-kind garments, okay? During that same fitting I was telling you about earlier, they put us in, and all the Indian costumes for the first 2 seasons were rentals for Western Hollywood costume rentals. So every time I put it on, I imagine 50 years of Indian actors wearing this nasty, sweaty, needs-to-be Febreze costume. So, yeah, they do have Febreze for us. But you put it on, and then there's the whole loincloth thing, which we'll get into. That's a little, that'll keep you skinny-ish. So we get it on. So they made us costumes this past season. That was the coolest thing. Because I know that what I'd been wearing for 2 seasons, that had probably been in 50 John Wayne movies, was now going back to live in California. And I got this pristine costume, which was made in India. They bought the leather, and they sent everything this way to India, and they had each actor's measurements, and they made the costumes for us. And they sent them back. I'm like, oh, this is so pretty, and it was fringe, and it was just to die for. I'm like, oh. So they did little minor adjustments, and they said, okay, well, we're going to send them to aging. We'll see you on set next week. I'm like, okay. Well, note. Joseph, who plays Countess Marburg's son on the show, Sebastian, he was being fitted one day, and if you've seen his costumes, he wears very elaborate. They're like black satin and brocade and leather. He kind of looks like a weird dominatrix kind of thing going on there. But so he walks out, and I'm in my new Indian costume. I'm like, your dress is prettier than mine. But he laughed, thankfully. And then they took our costumes away to aging, and when we saw them again, it looked like somebody had died in it. Because that's what they do. On Salem, we have people, their job is to make you dirty. Because we get there, we get in our costumes, and then we go, and first you get your, Native Americans generally have our makeup done in the special effects trailer. That's where the big stars go, and that's where they do all the creepy prosthetics. And the stuff that we did this season, I can't even tease you about, because there's bodies and body parts and cannibalism, and the Indians aren't necessarily very nice this season. I can tell you that. So we get made up in that trailer, and then we go to costuming, and then somebody comes in, they make your hands dirty. And if we're doing a bunch of guys, they line us up, and they go, you hold your hands out like this, and he comes by, and he makes your hands dirty. He goes down, he turns back, and you do it this way. That's fine. It's not really dirt, but it just looks nasty. And then thankfully, the natives don't have to smile, because if you show your teeth on camera, they give you this stuff to chew. It looks like kind of like tobacco, and it makes you look like you have a 1692 smile. You know, like nasty, like super nasty. So thankfully, natives, we don't have to do that. So some of the things that we got to do this season, we never really know. When they bring us in, they'll call me, Dan, we need you on set this day. Okay, cool. So I go in 2 hours in hair and makeup, and although this is real, we have some guys who don't have real hair, and they have to wig them. And then our costumes are extremely elaborate with headpieces and things. And they take us to set, and they said, okay, today, you're going to be doing this through the woods. Oh, and here's your props. So they give me a big Bowie knife, okay? And who knows what a war club is? It's huge, yes. And all our stuff is I guess it's reproductions. It's just like the real deal. It's the real weight. It's not styrofoam. It's the real deal. So I got one in each hand like this. So they bring me a bow and arrow and a quiver. I'm like, so they put the arrows on. So we are loaded down. They said, now when you're running through, do a war whoop. We hadn't practiced this at all. So I look at the guys. I'm like, guys, what are we going to do? They said, oh, just do something. It won't matter. They'll fix it in post. That's our thing. If you screw it up, they'll fix it in post. So we go off, I'm like, you don't do this, because you don't do that. Okay, that's so not right. So I'm like, I sounded kind of like a pissed off Middle Eastern woman. So we finished, and the guy looks at me and goes, dude, that was stupid. I'm like, and you didn't make a sound. Trust me, they're going to dub that. They will tell. We'll have like some macho stuff from something up there on that. But that's part of the things that we get to do. It's a big old family. I've worked with a lot of the same people for 3 seasons. Our show is shot outside of Grand Cane, Louisiana. This is our set. This is our town right here, season 1. This is the very first day I was on set, okay? This is just a tiny bit of the town. That's a lake over there. The docks are over there. It is extremely serene. You know, first day we were there, they brought us out, and there were chickens and goats and cows and horses. And we have wranglers on set, and then we have people to make sure the animals are treated nicely. And then we had a lady who was wringing chickens' necks and plucking them. I'm like, how is that being nice to the chickens? You know, it wasn't so good for the chickens, but because chickens are classified as food as well, after she wrung their necks and plucked them for the next take, they put them in a cooler because we were going to eat those later. We did not eat those later. No, we have good food on Salem. Super good food. So it took our breath away because we shoot in Grand Cane for the town set that you see there. And we have a huge holding tent. It is like twice as big as this and long. And that's where they feed us, and that's where they costume us, and that's where all our stuff goes. And that's where we're in holding, like, for hours. Now, if you've ever been on a film set or a TV set, you know it's hurry up and wait. Y'all know. Charlie over here was in a movie that I was in Shreveport, straight A's. We work separate days. But you get ready, and then you sit and wait until they bring you in. So, but it's all good. And the Salem crew that we have takes such good care of us. Seriously, we did a scene at the end of season 1, and they said, well, we're going to bring you to set. And the set today is this field, and it's post-battle. There's been a terrible, terrible massacre, and you're dead. I'm like, well, wait. If I'm dead, I don't get to come back. He goes, no. We're going to make you guys up as a different tribe, lay you out. So we get there, and they bring us out, and I look, and there's dead horses. Now, in my brain, I'm like, they either A, drugged real animals, or B, these animals are extremely well-trained, or C, they bought them from the glue factory. You know, I didn't know. What do you do with a dead horse? You know, there's got to be a limited market on that. But there were styrofoam, and they said, well, we want you to mount this horse. I'm like, I'm a little nervous to touch that. And, you know, I look like a complete badass in this native costume, and I'm telling her, I don't really want to touch the dead horsey. So she's like, just touch it. Well, it's not real. So, but they are anatomically correct because they have to fan their tails out to cover certain parts when they're laying on the ground. But getting back to how good our crew is to us, they come and, like, they placed us, and they're doing a shot over here, and they have these huge cranes up above us, and they're shooting stuff. So you can't get up and move during the day, and it was sunshine, so it was a daytime shoot. So between takes, while they were adjusting lights, they would each of us had our own PA that would come over. PA is a production assistant, and they would hold an umbrella over us with one hand and have bottled ice water for us in the other hand. And I'm laying there thinking, this is nirvana. This is like acting nirvana, right? I've done stage for years. Nobody does that for you at this stage. Nobody. You're kind of on your own for that. But that's some of the stuff that our crew does for us. We have an average of, we shot a scene at the beginning of this season, an outdoor scene. It was 4 actors, me and 3 other actors. There was 60 crew behind the camera because I counted them because we have a lot of downtime. So I'm like, that's a lot of people. That also teaches you quick discipline, set discipline, because you can't, if you screw up a take, here's in my mind what happens. If you do something and you do the wrong line or you make the wrong move and they yell cut, and what they tell you in the business is cut, then they say back to 1, that means go back to your first position. Y'all know that. So you don't want to screw up because if you do, it average of 2-3 minutes to reset the entire scene, okay? 60 people on set plus actors times that much money is how much you just wasted. So you do that a lot and you don't get invited back to Salem. You know, you might end up in somebody's sausages. But then I'm getting ahead of myself because Marilyn Manson is on our cast this season. And whoever's familiar with the Sweeney Todd thing, yeah, that's kind of Marilyn's thing. He kind of makes sausages out of the unfortunate people of Salem. So be watching for that because he is super creepy. I met him, and we didn't get to exchange words. He gave me that Marilyn Manson glance. And, you know, I'm dressed as a badass. I'm still like, whoa, that was super creepy. This is our Salem Season 1 cast. You recognize these folks. Those are our backbone of our show. Most of our cast, believe it or not, is British. Like when I met Anne Hale, she was talking outside of her trailer, and she's like, she's like, somebody tried to give me a Doctor Who cookie jar. I don't even like Doctor Who. I'm like, well, wait, that's Anne Hale. She's not supposed to sound like that. Really good acting on that. And, of course, Lucy Lawless, which I didn't get the pleasure of working in a scene with her, but she was phenomenal on our set. And that's one of the creepiest characters I think I've ever seen on any TV show ever. Okay, this is some of our set. This was from the first season. We get to snap pictures, but we can't share any of this on social media or anywhere until after that episode airs. So everything you see here today has been approved, okay? This is what happened earlier this year when the flood came. This over here is our dock, and you see that's all underwater. And that's where the ships, the ship. Has anybody seen our big ship that Countess Marburg arrived in? Well, the interior of that is this outdoor set, and it's just like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I get to walk amongst, I've been in the church. I sat on Mary Sibley's front doorstep this season having a conversation, and it was super cool. But Mary Sibley, you don't want to mess with her. This happened during the snow year before last, and that's Mary Sibley's house right there. I got to do a scene on this set earlier this season. Can't tell you what it was, but be looking for me. It's a very powerful scene. These are some of our Salem Native Americans. We have an average of 6 to 10 guys per episode, sometimes for a battle scene more, but each of us are unique. We all have different makeup on. Most of these guys are not, in fact, Native American. A lot of guys have Asian and Caucasian backgrounds, and one guy in particular, Jeffrey Summer, first guy I met on the Salem set played a Native. We had lunch that day waiting to be fitted. And I said, well, dude, what background? And he said, well, I'm Korean and Caucasian, so I'm a rice cracker. I said, okay, probably shouldn't say that down south because we get in trouble for all kinds of stuff, just saying anything. So Jeffrey's super cool. Come, welcome, join us. Look, it's pirate paparazzi. Arg. Good, you got the filter on that, right? The he looks so handsome filter. That is so important. Okay, more of our natives. This is what we do behind scenes. You know, we may be running through the woods, whooping like whatever, but this is what we do. We play on our electronics, like a lot. And we have a couple of, we don't have that many squaws, but the ones we have, they like to color in the coloring books. And they take good care of us. This is our native village. This is from season 1. It's on the banks. In relation to this, Salem is there. There we are, and this is our dream catcher. This is made of frogs. I don't know if these are real frogs. This thing is like 4 feet across. It was huge, and they would bring it down on the thing and glisten it up with glycerin and water to make it look drippy and creepy, and I swear the frogs were real. It could be possible because we used some real stuff on Salem. All the animal bones and things. This season, I can tell you this, I can't show you a picture. I have a necklace. It was made for me. I'm like, Joseph, really? Is that what you think of me? So thankfully it's up here, so I'm not really aware of it all day, but it's ferret feet that have been dried and actual bones, and then it's been all strung together. Well, first they hopefully sterilize it, and then they age it. They age the devil out of it. So like I said, it's up here, so I'm not really aware of it when I look down, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it's so nasty. But that's some of the stuff we use. Earlier this season, I was at Stageworks, which is where we shoot the interior sets, and we had a delivery of 100 gallons of fake blood. That's, you know, the things that people put on the side of the road where because we live in the country, you put your trash cans in, the big square things. It was one of those with the white thing filled with blood. We use a lot of blood on Salem. like a lot. Has anybody here worked with stage blood? It doesn't taste great. It's not poison. It's got a cornstarch base to it. But it actually makes your lips kind of numb if it's in your mouth. And it's so nasty. And the people who age us, if we've been in a battle or something, they also put blood on us. And a girl came by this weekend, so I had a cut in my costume, like so. So that means I had a wound there. So she goes, she said, okay, I'm going to blood you up. Well, she was new, and she just poured blood all over it. It looked great, but it doesn't dry because it's cornstarch, it's corn syrup base, so it was sticky. So the leather costume was sticking to it, and I'm back, I'm going crazy. So I go to the guy, I said, look, she's busy, but can we fix this? It's making me crazy. I know I need you to look wounded, but can we do something? He said, well, we could try blow drying it. Well, that doesn't do anything except maybe make candy out of it, right? So I said, wait, stage dirt. Because the dirt that they put on our shoes and our clothes and our face, well, the faces are different, but it's stage dirt. I don't know what's the difference. Evidently, it's real dirt that's been, like, super fixed or something and takes all the creepy stuff out and the diseases. But they put it in, like, a athletic sock, and then they hit it. And the powder that sifts through is what it is. So they put that over the blood so it wasn't so horrible. This is from our ritual. This was so exciting with the day. This was the first day it was on season 2. They bring us in. And they say, we're going to do a ritual with John Alden. They didn't tell me. I hadn't seen John Alden since season 1. And they bring him in, and he's wearing just a robe. I'm like, oh, if you've ever been on a film set and they bring an actor in wearing a robe, somebody's about to get darn near naked up in there. So, tag, you're it, Shane. So they put him in one of our native loincloths, except his, because he's, much more fit than all of us natives, was very brief. They tell me what I'm going to do. Okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to cut his hair off, because he had like this bobbed wig that he wore. And the girls were starting to complain. I said, okay. So they bring me, and then after you cut his hair, we're going to give him a haircut, and then we're going to tattoo his chest. Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, I can. For a brief moment, my mind went, just run now, leave now. But then I would never get to work in Salem again, so I stuck it out. So they bring me the knife, and we're doing the take, and all these people are and the knife is not cutting this wig, like not at all. So like, cut. I said, this knife doesn't work. So they bring the guy in, the prop guy. We have this amazing prop guy, and anyway, so he takes the knife, and he sharpens it, and he said, I'm a little hesitant to hand you this knife back. I'm like, I'm a hairdresser in real life. He goes, oh, good, this is the worst haircut you ever gave. Go ahead. So poor John Alden, I did everything except put my knee on the side of his head to saw this hair off. And when we got as many takes as we could of that before I completely destroyed this wig, they took him away to swap him out and fix his tattoos and bring me a stunt double with another whole fresh wig. So some of the cut-ins you see during this ritual, it's the stunt double. You don't see anything but the wig, and we're cutting it off. And had I thought about it, I could have so put that hair in my pocket. I know we have some incredible Salem fans, and some of these girls would have paid me big money for John Alden's hair, right? I just threw it on the ground in the wood set. Now, that's another thing. The wood set is so amazing. You can't tell this. We do shoot outside at night, and I have a teaser for season 3 at the end. I'm going to show you a shot I took in the woods at night. But this is actually an interior set. It's about twice as big as this area here, and it's the woods. And you walk in because in the woods there's everything. There's, oh, that's cool, and oh, that sticks you, and there's everything. So they bring us in, and they're like, for this, they said, you're going to bring him, you're going to carry him in, they're going to hold him down. So they said, okay, that tree's in the way. I'm like, how are they going to fix that? Well, the guy with the screw gun goes over, undoes the tree, moves the tree, and screws it back into the floor, puts the stuff over it. Amazing, right? We carry torches in this thing. They're actually metal. I didn't ever want to be a torch bearer because that's just, we have extremely stringent fire safety on our set. We have, whenever there's fire, right out of camera frame, there's a guy over here. See, like the girl up there with the torch? There's a guy like 10 feet away with a snuff blanket, which is basically something that will put the fire out. They tell us that we get a safety class every time. Here's the deal. If by chance you do happen to catch on fire during the scene, just do what they told you in elementary school. Stop, drop, and roll. Do not run, because if you run, then we have 2 people on fire because somebody has to tackle you, right? So luckily, nobody on my shift caught fire because because we do so many terrible things. This shot on the left, that's actually Adam Simon's picture. He took that. When we're shooting native stuff, generally Adam Simon is with us. He's one of the writers. And that is actually, from my point of view, I was exactly here. So they were doing my POV on this. So because they show this, they show above, and then they show what I would see if the camera were me. And then they brought the Indian princess to the set, and she's wearing a robe too. Yeah. So she peels it out, and she has complete body paint on. And it's like the Skin Wars thing where they cover all the important parts, and then they just paint everything, except she had eyeballs painted all over her. You know, so that was pretty cool. And in the show, she does a thing where she holds her hand out, there's an eyeball in her hand, and the CG takes over, and it, opens its eye, and it's super creepy. But we have a really good CG team as well. At the beginning of season 2, we did a thing where it was like a Viking funeral for John Alden, right? And they put him in the Piro. Well, it would look like a Piro. And they sent him out. It was the double. And we shoot a flaming arrow into the sky, and it just like the Vikings, and hits it and blows up. Here's what really happened. It was 30 degrees. It has to be done outside. We have to do it at the actual lake, right? So they said, okay, here's the deal, Dan. You're going to pour the oil over John Alden's body, and then I'm like, what? I said, well, you get one shot because it's 30 degrees, and it's actually water. And when you get him cold, we got to get him out of there quick. I'm like, so we did a couple of rehearsals. So I'm like, okay. So, worked beautifully. Pushed him out there. We had a guy shoot a flaming arrow. CG takes over right at the arc, and it perfectly hits it. And the canoe with the body, not really him, blows up. Because it was propane, and that's how we do it in Salem. Everything just blows up. So our propane guys, this is me during the ritual. Don't I look attractive? You had to be on some kind of speed to see this. Actually, I had to freeze frame it because it's a drug-induced stupor that Alden is in, so everything is very wow. I'm like, I had to watch it like 4 times. Wait, that's me, and that's me, and that's me, and that's my hands. So you don't think about that they would do like close-ups of your hands. Now, when I'm giving Alden the tattoo, they bring me this stuff. It's about this big, and it's what it actually was gel mascara, okay? It has a little thing, and they have taken what appears to be like a little shish kebab skewer, and everything's wrapped in leather, and there's feathers and beads and all this. And I said, okay, you're going to take this, and you're going to dip it in there, and then you're going to like tattoo him like this, like the Polynesians do. So I'm like, okay, Shane, you're cool with this? Yeah. So they show me a picture of what I'm supposedly doing, right? Magic of TV, it fixed it. So I'm doing this, and we're doing the first take, and there is blood everywhere. And I'm like, how sharp is this thing? And should I stop cut? Should I stop the scene? So you'll cut. And I'm like, dude, am I hurting you? He goes, no, they added blood to the stuff. You might want to tell the guy who may be making you bloody that he's not actually making you bloody. So the look of horror on my face for a moment there was a little bit real. Because, if you kill or maim the lead character, you don't last long in Salem. You don't piss Mary Sibley off either, because she will get rid of you in a heartbeat. We have some amazing actors this season. We have some new actors. God, I can't even tell you guys this stuff because it's a secret. So who in here now, we have a few more people, who has seen season 1 and 2? Yes. Do you like the show? But you can't that's your child, okay. It's TVMA, which is TV mature. My mom was watching the first episode, and she lives near my sister and I. And at first commercial break, she calls me, she says, I don't think I should be watching this. Because TVMA, yeah, we're after 9 o'clock, and we're very gory. And there's some brief nudity. The natives don't get naked, thank God, except when they give us loincloths. So, let me tell you about the loincloths. When you see us in our costume, what I had on here, it appears that we're wearing pants and a tunic and all this fur, and everything's real. It's all leather. It's real fur. I'm sure the Codys died of natural causes. So don't even go there. Or they've been dead for years and years. So, but the pants actually they're like chaps, okay? There's a part here, and all this is nothing. And then we wear a loincloth, which is basically a diaper, okay? And it ties with leather on the side. This season, they rigged them up to where we wear a belt and nothing falls. But in the first 2 seasons, everything tied with leather, and these were vintage costumes. And after leather warms up to body temperature, it starts to loosen and stretch. So we have a guy, and his job is to come around and tighten up our loincloths. So I'm talking to him, dude, your job kind of sucks. He just gives me the look, really? Okay. So, but the loincloth, I call it the loincloth diet. Now, like I said, if we're standing up erect, you don't see anything because our tunics are like this long. Seriously, everything's covered. You don't see any skin at all. But if we drop something, you have to check who's behind you before we pick it up. So, and if we shoot outside, like we were doing in the 30-degree temperature, they bring us Salem jackets to wear to keep us warm, right? During the thing. Well, we all wrapped them around our waist because that was the only cold part was the back. Because all this is like we're dressed for the occasion. But a friend asked me recently, he said, well, are you guys uncomfortable in those costumes? I know it's layers and layers. No. We shoot from January till early May. So even if we're outside, we are so perfectly toasty, and it's awesome. Our comfort is so important to them. If we do shoot something outside, it's really cold. They have a warming tent for us. But, of course, on the interior sets, that's all controlled. I see my guy went away. We have more slides for you. We'll catch up. Justin's probably talking to the mayor. He was helping me do my PowerPoint, and they said, oh, the mayor's waiting for you. I'm like, you should probably go see the mayor. We don't have the mayor in here, do we? No, we have new people, though. Welcome. Y'all can come up front. I'm going to be throwing stuff later. No, I'm not. Just throwing the bull. So a little background on me real quick to bring everybody up to snuff. I'm Dan Forrest. I'm an actor. My first big feature film was Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage. I actually played a Native American. I was recovering from surgery, and one of my friends said, they're looking for a guy to play an Indian in Shreveport. So I just, for the heck of it, sent off my headshot. Guess what? The director saw your picture. You're the guy. So that was super cool. And if anybody's seen Drive Angry, I'm right at the beginning in the diner. I have a wife and a kid because I'm a good actor. And the little girl that was with us was adorable. My wife and I haven't spoken since then. It was not a good relationship. She's not very nice. But that's okay. Because she wants to be a big star. We're working in the same direction. But y'all, it's not a competition either. I have a lot of actor friends, and we support each other for the most part. We may say really nasty things behind your back to each other, but not on social media, because it's not a competition. The only time it's a competition is if you're up for the same role as I am, and if it's for an Indian part, I win every time. But it's so cool. On Salem, so that Drive Angry led to different things. I played on The Gates, which was a short-lived series set in Shreveport. It was about a gated community, and everybody that was the neighbors of the police chief and his normal family were werewolves or vampires. I was a vampire because all the werewolves had facial hair. So that was kind of cool. We shot that in Shreveport as well. And then I did Olympus Has Fallen. That was super cool. I got to be in the ER scene. And Rhoda Wilson, who played Gerard Butler's wife in that, she plays the doctor in the ER scene, and it's very moving. And that's when Morgan Freeman comes on, and he tells everybody this is what's happening, and all this horrible stuff is going on. So the director comes up and he says, "Here's the deal. This is like a post 9/11 thing. You guys, you were tourists. You were having a great time, and all of a sudden bombs fell, and you guys are maimed." And they actually hired amputees, and they took their prosthetics away and poured blood over what was left of their appendages. And it was it was a lot of blood, like a lot. And my character, I don't know, but I had shrapnel in my face, and I just looked like the worst vacation ever. Okay, so I'm acting opposite Rhoda, and she's doing this thing, and she's trying to save this guy, and she thinks this guy is her husband, and it's not. So the director goes, "Okay, we're going to do this scene, and if you guys could cry, that would be awesome." Okay, not everybody on the set is an actor. We have people, I think I want to go be in a movie, and there they end up, you know. So their discipline isn't the best, but he tries to motivate you as best you can to the lowest possible denominator so everybody gets it. But I learned a little trick on stage. You could take Visine and drop it in your eyes without closing your eyes and just kind of flutter your eyelids, and then the tears just start to roll. So I very discreetly did this, and we did the scene and cut. And he actually came up and patted me on the back. He said, "That was awesome." I'm like, "Thank you." Well, Rhoda saw what I was doing. She said, "Do you have some more Visine? I've got a close-up, and I'm supposed to be crying on the phone with Gerard." I'm like, "Girl, I got 2 bottles here." So I taught her something that day. But she was super cool. But that was a cool movie I worked in. I worked on Straight A's at the Horseshoe Casino forever. I played a high roller. I wore a black Stetson and walked around the Horseshoe Casino with a martini all day and got paid for it. And that was so cool. So if anybody asks you if being on a film set, there's a lot of work. Yeah. You have to edit, but there's a lot of repetition. You have to do the same thing over and over. When the director says back to one, go back to your first positions. In Salem, because sometimes we're working with up to 200 people on a set, you better hope everybody's on the same page. It can't start here and then finally get to those people over there. No. We have people with loudspeakers, and it's like the chain. Who here's been on a film set besides Charlie? Anyone? Here's what you hear. Okay, sound rolling, 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 rolling. Like 6 PAs say this. So if you're not quiet by the end of that, you just need to leave because this is not your thing. This is not your tribe, okay? If you want to get into films and to do work like I get to do, which is amazing, I'm 56 and I get to live my dream every single day. I also have a real career that's lucrative, so yay, everything at this point is gravy, as they say, right? Here's what you do. Go on the internet. There's a couple of things. The easiest thing is just to search Louisiana casting directors. There's a bunch of them down south. There's also Legacy Casting, which is in Shreveport and in Dallas. Legacy casts Salem. You right there with the beard, you would play such a good... Did you hear the knocker's hole part? That's the bad part. You would fit in so well there. First, they would make you super dirty. Yeah. So, so register with it's all one word, My Casting File, okay? Look it up. It's so easy. You need a headshot. It doesn't really have to be a professional headshot. If you're doing a selfie, do it turned around. Don't have your, in the mirror picture because that just says you're not really wanting to do what they want you to do. Fill it out, and then it's free. The basic service is free. When you fit a profile of anything coming up in the state, they will send you a notice. At that point, you click on it, you say you're available or you're unavailable. If you're available, it goes right to the casting director for that project. They look at your picture, yes, I want that guy, damn, or lady, bam, and then you go and you get to work. Now at Salem, because our set is way back in the woods in Grand Cane, it's a closed set. There's a lot of safety issues, we have trained people. I've had friends, well, I'm just going to drive up there and go, check that out. That's not how it works. Like, dude, I don't even get to drive up there. They shuttle us from one location way back in the woods. I asked them the first time they took, I said, did we leave a trail of breadcrumbs or something to get back out of here? So we did that. So you can't get to the set because it's gated. It's got 6-foot-tall fence around it with razor wire at the top. We are serious about nobody seeing our set. Okay. And if I told y'all stuff about season 3, they would hunt me down. I'm pretty sure we have a Salem mafia. Brandon Braga would put something together, and they would find me. Isaac the Fornicator would, who knows? And Isaac the Fornicator, he was one of the very first characters you met in Salem. He was a guy who was the Puritans. He was evidently having fun, and they brand him with a big F on his forehead now, and he's been one of the lead characters since the very first of season 1. He's British. Didn't realize this because I've only heard him I heard him on set one day, and they're waiting. There's 80 people, I swear, waiting to do this scene with Ito, and he's over here and he's like, no, Raoul, I want all the stuff in the garden to match. Just fix it. Damn, Raoul, fix that. We got a movie to do here. So, but it's a little incongruent when you hear people that speak beautiful American and they speak in beautiful British accents, But it's super cool, too. There's so many amazing people on Salem. We lost one of our dear costumers this past year, Jane Ryder. She was in Shreveport, and she did millinery. She designed hats, and she dressed me, and she knew my real sizes. So I loved her very much, and we miss her. And we also lost a cast member this season to an unfortunate incident, one of our young guys that played on the set with us as well. But when you have a family like that, we end up being a family. There's been a little man, his name is Bill Proctor. Bill's about this tall, and he's probably late 80s, early 90s, and he's all kind of been over. He's been on everything I've ever worked at in Shreveport, ever. There's always the one little old man part, and Bill is the guy. And he looks like this, and he curses like a sailor. You know, you see him, and oh, hello, Bill. And then we have another little lady about his same age, Catherine. She was the lady plucking the chickens in season 1. She's the chocolate lady. She brings chocolate in her purse. So you want to be near her in a scene because she'll give you chocolate in between times. It's not working. This is the most amazing close-up ever, don't you think? No. While we're stopped for a second, look, Justin's back. He was probably schmoozing with the mayor. Right? There you go. Okay. There's my hands. There's another close-up of my face. More of the ritual. This is my favorite costume. This is what I wore in season 1, the very first episode. I was so badass when I walked out in this. I've worked on many film sets. The crew doesn't care. They've seen everything. They've seen big stars naked. They do not care. And they got us ready. We walked out, and everything stopped. And all the camera phones came out taking our pictures. Guys, could you we wouldn't smile. There's a picture later of me smiling. But they would take our pictures, and one guy, I knew him from another movie project. He said, at break, I'm going to Skype with my brother, and he's doing this with the phone to me. Look at his costume. I'm like, okay. But it was super cool. And they put so much into this. Like I said, that's my fur hat from season 2. It was super cool because I didn't even have to do my hair for those days. Now, this is my very favorite Salem look. This is what I would look like in the ritual with the face paint, and that's 3 of my favorite Salem looks. But the hat is cool. When I arrive for set, I shampoo my hair and blow dry it and flat iron and all that kind of stuff, and then they make it dirty. They said, well, you look great, but we're going to fix that. So they make it super nasty. This is Shane's wig. I think that is the actual wig that I cut because anything that the lead character wears is called a hero costume, hero wig. We had 2 hero wigs. No pressure there, Dan. We have 2 of these very expensive wigs. Destroy this one, and then you get one more shot because the stunt guy's wig was ugly. But doesn't that haircut look amazing? And this is what I put on Shane all day, like for 5 hours. Tell me that wasn't a little bit awkward. You know, I was like, dude, are my hands cold? What do we do? You know, trying to be. So, no, it was cool. And then they actually took him off and did it. Now, these are the lovely women of Salem. Are not these a bevy of beauties? A little story about Elise on the left-hand side, Mercy Lewis. She's had short hair since season 1, right? Here's a little story. She now has long hair because it's beautiful, and Countess Marburg helped her rejuvenate. The hair that she's wearing is her hair. She had long, strawberry blonde, wavy hair, and before she signed her contract, her agent negotiated it so they would cut her hair, make a wig with that hair, which cost a huge amount. I want to say $15,000 is what I heard. Custom-made wig, so now the hair that she wears is her hair. So that's what we spend all our money on Salem. So watch that and tell your friends. We need a lot of viewers to pay for wigs and such, right? This is the first scene I worked on. This is actually me. It's like Liz Taylor to White Diamonds commercial. So fuzzy you can't even see who it is. I'm over here behind Mercy. That's the second time she wore this concoction. They brought her out that day, and we were frightened. You know, if you see somebody who's like the cage something insane, like the carnival, we were stepping back. Now, I was with 3 Indian guys, right? And some idiot. We have one on the set. We call him the professor, because he knows everything, right? So he's telling them, oh, well, this is the word for devil, and we actually play Pequot tribe, but they didn't know that. Well, I know it in Apache. So he's teaching them these words. I'm like, guys, don't say that. Don't do that. Why? Because if they film you doing that and they get it to post-production and that doesn't mean devil, they're going to cut our scene. So, but they're all, and they're jumping, and I'm stoic because I have a big old gun, like a huge gun. So she comes to me like, so the cut, director comes over. Here's the deal. Dan, you're good. Indians, you're braves. That implies that you're brave. This crazy white girl does not scare you, okay? So then we fixed it and we erected, hopefully, accordingly. This is what we saw the day that they used a motion cam, a Steadicam to get that. There's always tons of people around, and you had to, because this guy with his back to us was backing up. He's the guy you had to watch for. Because they would tell you, don't bump into him, but if you're stationary and he's coming toward you, you had to, anticipate and step out of the way. But that's just part of the stuff that we do. Are we getting close? 5 minutes. Oh, wow, that went by really fast. Okay, let's just zoom through the rest of this. And go. Oh, yeah. Okay, favorite tribe. More tribe. This is our Charlie's Angel picture. More backstage stuff that we do. Aren't I adorable? More adorable. There she is. The church was on fire. They actually torched the church. They fixed it, though. Our beautiful cast from season 2. Season 3 is coming up. This is a teaser. I know the actress, this is her lips. They didn't really sew her mouth closed. That's our town. Season 3 cover pic. You can get this on Facebook for free. This is behind. I'm in this, but I'm not going to tell you who I am because I don't think you can see me in this one. This is our season 3 teaser. We're getting close to stuff I'm going to tease y'all with. The witch is back, so that implies that Mary Sibley's back. That's my costume for season 3. See, that's all I can show you. This is the thing. All right, first time ever. This is our cast. There's Marilyn Manson here. The rest of them you'll have to figure out. But who is this Indian right here? Yay, look at the next slide. I made it in the character. First time natives ever made it. I was so happy. I look pissed off, though. Filming season 2, that's Joseph, our munchkin. He has dreads now, so nobody wants to attack him. This is part of the crew that makes our show. This is huge. This is his stage work. That's like 3/4 of the crew. That's Joseph, our award-winning costume designer. He is amazing. Little artwork for a friend of mine. This is what I shot one night. This is during season 3. That's all I can show you. That looks like the full moon. It's not. We fake all that. It's a big thing on a stick. These I'll have outside right around the corner here. Full size 8x10s. Come and get one, please. $10. And I will sign anything. I will make it out to an alias if you'd like that. So it's a built-in alibi. And please watch us for season 3. I'm Dan Forrest. Does anybody have any questions before I go away? I talk incessantly. Thank you for the Red Bull. That was an amazing inspiration. Well, thanks to my friends who came all the way from Alexandria and Pineville area and even further to see me. Thanks for my sister. Thank you, Justin, for bringing me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you mention how you got involved in acting? Did you talk to them about how you got involved, what process you took?
With the injury and how I got on the first movie set, I was a theater actor for years, community theater. And now I also have a troupe. Kimberly Patton here is with me. She does murder mystery dinner theater starring the unusual suspects. And we write comedy murder mysteries, and we've been doing them to sold-out audiences for years in Sinlaw. So you can go on Facebook. It's murder mystery dinner theater starring the unusual suspects, and like us. Or look me up, Dan Forrest. I look like that guy there. So thank you all for. So questions for anybody? You're all going to watch Salem right now. That's your homework. It's important. Please, we need that. All right. Thanks everybody. I really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Forrest.